Hi, my name is Meeran. I am the managing partner at Skylights Energy. At Skylights Energy, we build software for the electric control panel industry. Switchology is an energy management solution. It is designed particularly for industrial applications. We provide our own gateway devices through which you can connect your digital meters. It can be digital meters, sensors, any communication that happens through RS485 Modbus protocol. So once the devices are connected to our gateway device, then you can start monitoring it using our proprietary dashboard. Let's look at how the interface will look like in real time for an application that we have installed already. As soon as you logged in, like I had shown you, this is the gateway device information, the name of the gateway device, the software version, and the network information is available here. The ideal operating temperature of the gateway device, the speed usage of the device, and the memory storage of the device. So let's look at the energy dashboard for this particular application. Here we have 3 different meters that is being connected. Now we have ID2, which is a main meter. The meter is currently live on, and this is the current reading of the meter, with the load currently at this point is 221 kVA. The time of recording is 12:44 in the afternoon, and the energy reading from that particular meter is this many MWH. This is the average energy that is being consumed on an hourly basis. This is the meter peak, the maximum load the meter has recorded for today, which means the meter is loaded at 78% of the peak load. This is the voltage distribution, R phase, Y phase, and B phase. It is equally being distributed, so there is no unbalance in the system. Here is your phase-to-phase voltage at this point. It is currently reading at 404 volts. Phase to neutral voltage is reading at 233 volts. This is the frequency from that meter. It is a live reading of 50 Hertz and the PF reading from that meter. Similarly, you can see all the other voltages across individual phases. This is the R phase, Y phase, and B phase voltage. R phase, Y phase, and B phase load in kVA readings. So main kVA reading is at 70 kVA at this point. The current that is reading from this main meter is 340 amps across R phase, Y phase, and B phase. And you can see that the current has been increased right at about 6:30 time in the morning, and then it has reached its peak at around 11:50 and still nearing its peak. Here is your load. Similarly, this is the total load. The orange color is the total load, and these are the each individual phase wise load. And this is your watts, energy in watts that is being consumed on a 5-minute interval. So like this, you can see all the other meters that we have. We have ground floor meter reading. The device is currently on. This is the total load for the ground floor. It is 26 kVA. And then you have the total energy that is consumed. The ground floor energy on an hourly basis is about 4 units per hour. And the ground floor load. The load is also right now at its peak. It is reaching at around 92%. It is mid-afternoon at 12:45 right now. And these are all the each individual voltage, the total load, and the current in ground floor. The current in ground floor is reading at 34 to 44 amps. And the third meter that we have connected is the first floor meter. The meter is also switched on. The load is currently at 32 kVA. And this is your energy consumed, energy reading from that meter. And the per hour energy consumption is about 6 units per hour. And the first floor is also at its peak load at around 12:45 mid-afternoon. Similarly, you have the voltage, kVA, and the current reading from that meter. The ampere reading from that meter is around 45 amps across all phases. So the important thing for us to study is what is the hourly energy. So let's say we like to study the energy that is consumed across these 3 meters. We have a main meter, ground floor meter, and the first floor meter. And this is the reading that has come from yesterday. Like this, you can choose any of the days and you can see the hourly energy readings for any particular day. So yesterday being a Thursday, it is a weekday. The main meter reading has started increasing right at around 7:30, and then it is reaching at its peak at around 3:30 in the afternoon, and then comes down at around 6:30. It reaches its lower values by around 11:30. So, and then has a cyclical for the next day onwards. So this is the main meter reading. So if you look at the ground floor reading starts at around 7:30. The same pattern is coming up. At around 2:30 you have a peak load. Actually at around 10:30 you have a peak load in ground floor, and then it goes down, stays on till about 11:30, and then goes down at night. The same thing happens in the first floor also. You have a higher peak more in the 2:30 range, and then it goes down in the evenings. Now this is a comparison of ground floor and first floor put together side by side. So you can see that the ground floor is much lower compared to the first floor readings. So the first floor is consuming more energy during the day. So now this is a 1 day analysis of how much energy is being consumed. Let's see a 1 month analysis. So I have plotted previous month. So we are currently in August 7th. So this is for the entire month of July. From 1st of July it goes up to 30th of July. So now you can see that during the weekdays it goes up, and during Sundays it goes down. I will plot it. Okay. So let me plot the time also on the chart. Okay. So now you can see that at around 5th July during Sundays the load is much lesser compared to the weekdays, and then again it goes lower compared during the weekdays. So 11th July and 12th July the load has become less. So now if you notice, 12th July is a Sunday, the load is very less. 19th July is Sunday, the load is less. And then 26th July is a Sunday, the load is less. So Saturday also has a load, and it is also reasonably less. So like that you can see for the energy across ground floor, energy across the first floor. Now this is the total energy that is consumed for the entire month. 2460 units has been consumed for the entire month. So like that you can see 257 units consumed for the ground floor and 369 units consumed for the first floor. And this is how the energy comparison looks like for the ground and first floor when you look at the whole month. So it is a cyclical pattern. Weekends are much lower energy and weekdays are more energy consumed. And then we will do a comparison of the load also. So if you look at similar to kWh, this is a comparison for kVA. kVA is a measure of the load. So now we have all these different loads. Similarly, the load for the entire EB incoming is reaching 259 kVA during weekdays, and then it goes down to 100 kVA during weekends. Now the most important thing out of all of this is you can take a monthly energy chart. Particular floor is consuming more energy, so that way you can monitor the energy consumption. So this data can be downloaded and then you can have it in an Excel report. So like this you can have a ground floor energy consumption across every day, every month, and then you can split the bill across which particular floor is consuming more energy. The other important thing is how you can identify certain issues in your system. So this is a comparison that we have done for the 3 meters. Now here we have the voltage comparison. Here I have plotted all the phase wise voltage. So R to Y phase to phase voltage, Y to B, B to R across all the meters. So if you notice that there is no discrepancy in the voltages, so they're pretty much following a same pattern. I can make this chart much bigger, and you can see that the phase to phase voltage is almost the same. So there is no major issue in the voltage that is being reading. So usually when there is a huge fluctuation, then it will cross beyond the threshold. But you can see during peak load times in the morning 9:30, the voltage dips to 390 volts, and the off peak times during early morning hours at 3 a.m. the voltage is at its peak at 428 volt. Now this identifying this will ideally tell you your entire system it will tell you if the transformer tap is working correctly and if the BESCOM supply voltage is also ideal. So any sudden drop in voltage, such as if you see here, there is a sudden drop in voltage from 420 to about 400. So there is a 20 voltage drop. So it is important to note, you can just click and scan and then zoom into that particular area. At around 8:56 at night yesterday, there has been a voltage dip from this point to this point. So it is important to note which particular current or load has been causing this issue. So now let's go back to what we were doing. So if I look at this chart for yesterday, right, so this is the voltage comparison and this is the current for the main incomer. So this is the current for the entire building. So the current is at minimum 70 amps during night times, and then it goes to its peak at around 350 amps. And likewise, I'm also plotting the first floor and the ground floor readings. So the first floor reading is reaching at around 67 amps during its peak hours, and then the ground floor is reaching at around 35 amps during 40 amps during its peak hours. This is the reading of the current. Now another important thing that we plotted here is the power factor. Now power factor for the EB main, which is good, and there is no issue here. We can make this chart much bigger. So if you look at it, if the power factor goes less than 0.8, then there will be penalty issues. But most of the main reading power factor is ideal, which means there won't be any penalties that you will see in the BESCOM bill. But then the other thing that we can notice here is when I plot the power factor for a ground floor meter, then the value of the power factor is reaching at 0.749, which is poor quality load. So there is some load which is being turned on during this particular time where the PF penalty is going very low. And during evening times at around 7:45 to about 9:20, this particular load has been switched on. So in order to understand what amount of current, you can see just at around those times, there is a surge in the current. This is early morning hours at around 4 o'clock. There has been an increase in the current. And similarly, during at around 8:45, 7:45, 8 o'clock, there is another load which is increasing, which is causing this particular power factor to arise. So it is important to identify what happened during that time, which is causing a bad power factor in the ground floor. Now like this, you can plot information and identify if there is any issue in your system. So if the power factor continues to stay for this on a repetitive basis, on a daily basis, then you will see penalties in your BESCOM bill. So these kind of alerts can be set up from our gateway device, and it will give you an email and WhatsApp telling you what particular issue has been faced in the system. And the other things that we can do is we can generate BESCOM bills by putting the from date and to date. You can generate a exactly similar looking bill like BESCOM's bill, and you can plot what is the total energy that is coming out of your meters as compared to the BESCOM meters. And we also have a SCADA interface wherein you can plot and see remotely anywhere. Logging into our gateway device, you can see what is the current reading, what is the voltage reading for that particular ground floor or first floor or second floor, whichever floor that you want to maintain. And we have KPIs. KPIs are mostly for key performance indicators for factories that produce something. For example, if it's a medicine factory, then they would monitor how much energy is being consumed for producing one medicine. So that is the indication for KPIs. So this is how you can see the data. This is how you can monitor assets, and you can find ways to avoid penalties in your BESCOM bill. You can find ways to reduce your energy by monitoring if there is some unwanted load that is being switched on during night hours. If there is a light that is being continuously being switched on which you do not need, or an AC being switched on that you do not need, those kind of information can be monitored by connecting our gateway device. If there is any question, please reach out to me. My name is Shakir, Yeah, and you can send an email or WhatsApp. I will get back to you. Okay, thank you.